let's come on the meteor part, which is the secret sauce of your business, because you are a role model for many prop tech companies on how to scale beyond your local geographies. Could you give us a sense of the scale that you are operating today? How many regions and markets are you operating today?
Yeah, so I think just an anecdotal story, which is probably relevant, is, you know, starting a global business. I mean, our former business, we built a large business in Africa. We had clients in other regions around the world, but the point that I'm making is not easy, right? You're dealing in foreign time zones, culture, nuance, and a million and one different things that are against you at any given point in time. COVID, however, was an interesting leveling playing field. In other words, Zoom, if you, I suppose, had the appropriate grit, coupled with LinkedIn, enabled and pushed people to engage. So the first territory we looked at going into was Australia, because in Australia they've got a what they call a vendor paid market. In other words, the seller of a property pays for the marketing of their house, and that is probably one of 5 countries around the world that do such a thing. Whereas in South Africa, the agent pays to market your house. So the point is, there's a very thick slither over there of marketing spend, and we thought that that was a very good opportunity for Flow. I reached out to some friends who were kind of in the digital space. Long story short, I just knocked on doors. You couldn't even get into Australia from a COVID point of view. And the moment one could, there was a property portal conference. And we flew in. We actually got there a day late. And we hustled the room, literally, to understand who all the key role players were. Bumped a couple of other South Africans. And long story short is relationships were formed. And weirdly enough, my former business, we did the same thing. We tried to reach out to Facebook and they wouldn't really engage with us. So Gil and I got on a plane and flew to Dublin and literally knocked on the door. And the rest is history. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. We then... when we were in the Australian market, we understood that it was very competitive, very advanced too, and that going door to door over there would be probably an insurmountable outcome, in the sense that time zone, a million other nuances were probably against us. It forced us to figure out how quickly we could try and look at other opportunities over there, and hence what blossomed out of that is to engage with CRMs and portals around the world. Once we understood that, we started to tap into particular conferences, niche, super niche, of the right players in the room. You know, the ilk of, you know, your NASPA's equivalents that are portal players, you know, horizontal portals in car, property, jobs, etc. There are many such companies around the world, and we dialed into such a conference, and we flew to the first one last year in Madrid. And what we learnt over there was that was the absolute appropriate stomping ground for what we needed to do. The next move is we started to sponsor these events around the world. And we used that as our lead funnel to engage with these key role players. What we didn't realize, and what we thought initially, was that the ability to close these deals would be a lot shorter than we thought. And what came of that is the sales cycle naturally is longer than one expects. But that has now become our global strategy. We are, at any given point in time, engaging many portals around the world. We've closed deals in a whole host of territories, from Netherlands, Israel, Germany, Brazil, Canada, Panama. I mean, it's really, in some instances, territories we never even would have thought of. But the problem is the same, right? every estate agent, doesn't matter where you go on the planet, same issue. Our solve is enabling them to blend what they need to do onto social platforms, and that's been very liberating for us. And that's where we spend our energy. Yeah.
You said the lead funnel is usually long in B2B. How long are we talking about from lead to conversion?
Yeah, so initially we thought it would be a 3-month cycle. We then started to learn it was probably about a 6-month cycle. But within that, we've had outliers. One took 2 weeks, one took 18 months. So we're still finding out what that absolute mix is. But I think the more the rhetoric is spoken of where we play, right? We're that blend of, I always say that whoever controls the lead is effectively the sexy space, right? Social media is a sexy offering. And to that end, that is where the conversations are going. And equally, data is a very sexy space. And that is now ensuring that our lead cycle can become a lot shorter, hopefully, in time to come.